There we go. It's kind of weird. I don't know why, but sometimes when I start Streamlabs, it automatically switches to default instead of my mic. But thank you for notifying me, because on my screen it was actually, it looked fine. But thank you and welcome. So what I was saying actually is that I have a shoulder injury which prevents me from using the mouse for a longer time. So I have to, limit the time working on this level because I have to use the mouse quite a lot actually. It's a bit unfortunate. I've been struggling with this for almost like 3 months, I think, maybe a little more. So there's some like inflammation in my shoulder. I had like a scan made which showed it, and it's kind of doesn't go away as easily as I thought. So I hope that I can, just by limiting my time working on this, I have to kind of like try to divide it, doing shorter sessions, but more, maybe a few times a week more than one longer session. The bad thing is I have to use my PC for work as well. Mod database, it should be up to date, yes indeed. I haven't produced any later version as far as I'm aware. Episode 1, is it available? Well, actually I'm working on it right now. It's gonna remaster. We'll remaster. It's kind of like to bring the level up to the same quality level as episode 2. So there are lots of improvements here. I kind of like, for mainly this area. I assume you haven't played episode 1, but this will look like this looks visually a lot better. Yeah. Oh, you haven't? Okay. I think it's available somewhere. But I kind of, wanted to bring in a few textures and colors. From, the second episode. So as you can see, like, it uses some better lighting. Also added the liquid here. And added in some more textures from Doom 3, because I started using the Doom 3 texture pack. Hold on, let me check for you real quick. I think there is Doom World could be, but I probably have something. Let me check real quick. I think I had an account on Game Banana as well. Should be there. Hold on. God. Hold on. I think I got it. There we go. Found it. Let me post it real quick. Well, you can. Technically, you actually can play episode 2 without 1. There is like a story continuation in the README file. Well, yo, if you really want, I can. Here's the link to the original one. Now, do keep in mind that the level of quality might differ because there's a lot of time in between those two episodes. So it definitely it feels a little older compared to episode 2. You will definitely notice that, but it should still play fine. There might be one thing that was very annoying. There is this computer humming sound, which I use on every computer panel, and I apparently is super annoying. It irritates a lot of people. So that's why in this update I removed that humming sound for the computer panels. It didn't feel as annoying to me, but maybe to some. I can understand where it's coming from. But it's I think it's still a good, it's a solid experience. This episode kind of focuses on more tight gameplay, while the maps in episode 2 are a little more open. Multiple routes to objectives. Well, this feels a little more linear, but I actually was planning because this episode is kind of sequential. You have map 1 and then you automatically go to map 2, 3 and 4. In episode 2 I introduced a hub system where you can actually choose which map you want to play first. And you have to complete all 3 maps to open a special area in the hub map where you will, fight the final boss. And I kind of want to bring that in episode 1 as well, but I'm going to do it a little different here because in episode 2 you kind of start in the hub area. In this episode I kind of want to, because it's, kind of story-wise, it makes sense that you enter a facility first because you just landed on the planet. So it's kind of there's no immediate hub area where you just happen to be. So this is actually a little different because I kind of wanted to do this this is the first level and serves as a hub as well. But it's just you go through the whole level and then at the end you reach an area where you have this, where you have these 2 portals where you can enter one of the maps in your of your choosing, and then in this same map you will face the first variant of Annie as well. But actually planning to redesign the arena because in that episode, the one I sent you the link, there was a flaw, and if you go right under, maybe I don't want to spoil too much, so you'll see, but there's an obvious bug there, an exploit, which allows you to almost get a free kill. So I'm gonna correct that and kind of redesign the arena so it doesn't happen. But that is something for later. What I'm gonna do now, and it's actually easy because I'm planning to make very little changes to the overall map. Kind of want to improve some areas and open them up a little more because this was more closed off. So what I did here was actually create this nice room. I tied a few rooms together into one bigger room. Made sure there's enough cover still, but it's more open. It's better for enemy encounters, for fights, that you have the ability to move around a little more. So those are going to be the main improvements, and of course texture-wise, I'm going to add some more dynamic lighting. Mouse look, jumping, crouching, even rocket jumping, but I'm going to disable that in a future update. So it is required, yeah. Crouching, jumping, and mouse look. I think if you run it on the latest version of GZ Doom, or maybe UZ Doom, you should be fine. I have a completely brand new soundtrack, which is specifically made for this game, or this mod. But that is, you know, also something for later. I think we were actually working on this. Let's have a quick look, see where we're at. So I kind of give this a nicer look. And you will notice if you play the original episode 1, like this was also very closed off. Like where this rock is, this was all closed. So there you had like high walls. So it kind of made it more interesting here. And the thing is, like, you can actually put some Kako demons in here that are rising up. So it's I think it's a little more like, try to make the map a little more interesting. Because don't forget, like, I think this this map was made like more than 10 years ago, I think. Maybe? I can't even remember. But it has been a long time. It has gone through a few iterations. But now this is really gonna be like the final one. And you know, after this episode is brought up to the same quality level, we're gonna go and make episode 3, and that will be the final episode. So what I need to do here is basically bring this up to the same level of quality. Let's it's kind of weird. I remember specifically that if I selected sectors, it selected the things as well. So there must be like maybe in preferences, editing. Pasting. I would assume it should be here somewhere. Huh, that's weird. Hey, Morlap. Welcome. Ah, that's unfortunate. But welcome for the time that you're here. If the thing's out of the sector... that actually, that would make sense here, indeed. But I have experienced something similar inside sectors as well. Let's see, like... Hold on, like this one, for example, the light. See, it doesn't do that. Well, it did before. It's a setting because, like, of a new Doom Builder update. Using the selection rectangle. No. No, I know specifically there is something wrong. First sector, outer sector with the lamp. Oh yeah. Yeah, true. Well, normally it shouldn't. Like this should be, like, I remember very distinctively that this, you could just select it, copy paste it. Let's see. Well, I'm gonna try it anyway. No, it still doesn't. I know there has been a change. Damn it. It's very strange now. There is, and I won't find it here, but I have to do something else. I have to check. Control Alt P. Thought I did that. That is super weird. Hey zombie, what is up, buddy? Did I do something wrong here? Control Alt P. That's my poly object. Doesn't seem to work. It worked before. Yeah, it's one of those days, I guess. That's weird, man. Control Alt P. Gonna have to restart. I have no idea why this is doing what it's doing. Oh, God. Now here I am trying to use shortcuts because of my shoulder issue, and shortcuts just don't work. Why can't I make a poly object out of this? Doesn't make any sense. Create poly objects. Oh, it's gonna. Oh, now it works. How weird is that, man? How weird is that? Okay, the anchor. Yeah. Hurts the touch. It's actually. It doesn't have to be. Maybe I can. Yeah. Just start spot is fine. See, it doesn't reset. Okay. Okay, now I have to, of course, script that in. There we go. As simple as that. I remember it being a lot more difficult adding poly objects in before. This makes it super easy. Okay, so we got that. I know it's kind of like, you know, it's a little more interesting just having a tech ball behind the window there. So I think this is fine. And in this right here, so we're going to completely change the way this ends here. So this is not going to be well, we can actually basically keep the room. However, we are going to make some decent changes here. Probably should expand on the room quite a lot. And I think maybe making these are like doors, extending to like different parts of the map. And I kind of need like that second player thing, like we did in episode 2, where once, like, if you enter the hub area for the first time, you start in a different position than when you enter the second time. And we need to do the same here because, you know, it's not like you don't have to go through all of this again to reach like the central hub area. You only need to go through it once. And I'm gonna make sure that there is a way. Well, there is gonna be a way back, of course, because this is... I want to create this elevator which lowers you down into the final area. So this part here is gonna be the actual hub area. And this is just like the entrance to the hub, yeah. Just to do something different compared to episode 2, where you start immediately in the hub area and you just go around. This is like because this is the first episode, I want to do something different. Like I said before, like story-wise, it makes sense that you just enter the base from like the base entrance. Now you could twist it the way you want, but I thought, you know, it would be interesting to just start the game like, instead of like a hub area where there's, in general, the action is a lot slower. I just wanted to go like start heavy on this, and then, you know, then you proceed into like a quieter section where you can actually choose one of 2 maps, because, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4. No. 3 maps actually. This is the 4th map and the hub area. So you can actually choose 3 maps going from here. So I have to, I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, is 3. So those of you who have played episode 1 will maybe remember how certain areas looked, and you know, there will be, of course, some changes. Like I'm kind of wanted to do something with this. And what bothers me a little bit here is that it's not really in the middle, although, well, it's not a huge deal actually. I kind of want to keep this crane, I like it. But of course we have to make some changes to this part right here. And of course UDMF will be kind enough to do that for us. Or like do the heavy lifting. But I want to make sure. Okay, so there is a little bit of a slope here. Okay, so let's use that as well. That's actually pretty redundant. Oh wait, did I? I actually changed some, oh yeah, okay. We didn't do it here. Actually, I feel like it's so trivial. It's not worth like the 4 extra sectors or like the 3 extra sectors it creates. No, actually 4. Okay, so let's go back to, where is it? Here. You can just align this and just these like that. Okay. Now, like, this change is pretty minimal. However, you will see it in the lighting. Like the way the light breaks, it has like a little more elevation. It stands out a little better. You don't really notice it otherwise too much, I think, but you know. Probably a better way. So I'll already start to feel it. But you know, I just hope, like my injury, that I'm taking pills now to kind of fight the inflammation. But it's a nasty one. Like more than 3 months. I think I never had it this long. And I don't even know like what started. I think it was Titan Quest. The first one. I'm not really sure if the second one is out already. I don't think so. Let's see where the white. So the white is in the center. Okay. And remember, like it involves a lot of clicking, and that kind of. I think that's where it started. So thank you so much, THQ, for not having not making use of the WASD keys. That's like they're gonna do it for Titan Quest 2. Like using the same oh, what the fuck is that? Cancel whatever I did. Now I forgot what I was saying actually. Oh yeah, they actually did it in the second one. They kind of took inspiration from Jesus Christ, my memory. Oh. From Path of Exile 2. Ah, oh, you did? Well, I know you have a keen eye. Could be right. Oh my god. Holy shit. You, my man, are pure insanity. You always remind me, like, when I say that, they're like, have you ever played, like, have you played Unreal, the first one? Always forget who of you played it. You have. Okay, so you maybe remember, then you would remember, there was this level, and it was a very short level. But it was, like, I really liked it. It was very beautiful. There wasn't too much action going on. And that's what I love about Unreal as well. Like, you had these parts mid-game where you all of a sudden, like, there was a very relaxing atmosphere. And there was a specific level, it was very, very short. I think you had to fill like a swimming pool. And then you could proceed to a section and there was this message on the wall. And I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was something along the line of you have to have a keen eye to, I don't know what, to solve that puzzle or something. And whenever I say that, you remind me of that keen eye. It's kind of weird, I know, but always I think to myself, yeah, he would have definitely found that puzzle absolutely easy. You know, the thing is, like, Unreal, I made like one map for Unreal, or was it like a 2-part map? Yeah, Maybe. I don't think it was that far in. I know which map you're talking about. You hear the splash, and you could hide under the stairs. I did that. It was pretty cool. Really cool atmosphere, like. Yeah, but I don't think it was that far in the game already. No, could be wrong though. But holy shit, was it awesome! And you know, I kind of want to go back into Unreal development, making like a map pack for the original. Like, I kind of wanted to make like a full, like a mini episode, like even like introduce the Annie universe in Unreal. Maybe if I could get some like some proper funding, maybe could actually do something really interesting with it. No, it's actually going to be like a spider, but like in the Unreal sense. Like, I have to make sure that it's, of course, it fits in the Unreal universe. But it's actually not a bad idea, to be honest. Like a giant mechanical one. Of course, like I'm gonna actually, I'll be placing a post in the Buy Me a Coffee on the Buy Me a Coffee site soon, where I will kind of go a little deeper into like what it is that I'm gonna do with, you know, this whole thing once this like episode 3 is finished, and how it will all tie into into like, you know, multiple games. I think I did explain a little, but you know, like the story elements will actually evolve in a way that, you know, it like lore wise, it will be possible for Annie to be in different universes. And this will allow me just, you know, to have like, to create like these packs for different games while still like continuing the story, or, you know, and it allows me to actually come up with a new monster each time. So there is like a little more than just a level pack for these games. So I think that's going to be like, you know, interesting, at least like something to have the players come back to experience it. Like maybe like try to find a combination between you know, maybe like a little bit of mechanical elements, because the origin of Annie is, of course, that she's a spider mastermind. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Now, I think Unreal will definitely allow for something like that to exist within the universe. Like maybe I could actually do like a continuation, like where, you know, the Scar Queen is defeated, but Annie comes inside the world and just, you know, takes over leadership or something, and, you know, shit starts again. You know how it goes. Something like that, maybe. so can we actually do something with the ceiling here? Kind of want to do something like... But in order to have like... Oh god. Why did I not put this in the center? Hold on just a second. I think I can fix this easily. What is this? 236. What the hell is that for length? All right. Thank you so much for dropping by, Mordenlab. Have a great evening, and I'll catch you later. $240, so I have to go half there. Okay, that's actually very possible. It's 160. $208. That is fine. What is going on here? I see. Okay. Let's see if we can actually do the same. Then we have like a good incentive. Okay. We can actually drag these along. Yeah. Of course I have to drag this box along. And all of these. This one. Okay, here we go. Laszlo, welcome and thank you so much for joining, my friend. Okay, now technically we have equal besides this inset here, but now it feels like more like centered. I'm gonna use this one. Oh, that's weird. That is weird. Why is it 32? 28. That is 32. Okay. What is wrong with this? That is 32. 32. Oh, I see. Ah, wait. That was on me. And there we go. And then we can actually just keep it. I thought... I don't know what I was thinking. But what we can do now is actually make the ceiling a little more interesting, because and I think this is actually pretty good using 16 here. So let's see. Okay, let's actually give this texture like a sky texture. Like Cheesy Doom allows us to do a lot of fun things here. There we go. And especially the UDMF map format. So what we can do, and you'll definitely notice, like, we can actually increase the brightness here and just use like 160. And you have this very nice light shining here. And it also adds to, like, visually, I think what I really love about like Quake 2, for example, is like how they use like these more, I feel like, harsher lights. Because the sky has this beautiful like orange color, like orange vibe. And like the contrast between light and shadow. You know, when I was like, there was a period when I was making levels where I wanted the lighting to be very gradual. Like, you know, having a lot of these extra sectors to decrease the lighting so it matches the other sector. But I kind of learned to appreciate the harsh lighting more. And I think, you know, for a Doom game, it definitely, you can get away with it. So what we can do here, and I think I have actually a very good texture for this. And like with this, you can actually, if you want, like what I'm gonna have to do is actually create like a glass window here, because this is all very like these. There's a lot of fog here. Hey, Red Majors, what's up? I'm doing well, actually. Unfortunately, I'm not doing too great. I have a shoulder issue, like an inflammation. It's been going on for like more than 3 months now. Hey, Darkstar. Wow. That's awesome. Prettiest map. I finished the game not too long ago. And I thought it was really great. The one thing I didn't really like was like the later levels where you go into that, you know, like different realm. I can't even remember like what it was called, but with a lot of crystals, like the chaos thing, like the chaos realm or something. Can't remember. No, was not a huge fan of that. But yeah, it's absolutely great. And what I really like about Proteus was like the level editor itself. It's pretty, like, it's not like too noob friendly, if I can, like, is that a way to say it? Like, there is like, it's a pretty complicated level editor, which is great, because the more complicated it is, or the more close to the original development tools, like the better levels you can make, right? It's not like a sandbox editor like Far Cry where you can just drag in like prefabs, or like the Doom 2K16 editor or Doom Eternal editor. Doom Eternal, I think. It's a lot more simple, but that means, like, you know, people have to, you can't get very creative, but then it's not really like, you have to, you know, trade aesthetic for that. You can create different shapes, but, you know, you can't really texture them properly. And I feel like I don't typically design maps for those games because I feel too limited. It was intuitive, especially I looked at the like how they handled the texture scaling based on the size of your brush or like your plane. Yeah, Snap Map indeed. Snap Map was. It's not my kind of editor. Like, I wish they would just give you like the tools they use to build the maps, and allow you to do the same. Because like the community, people in the community aren't stupid, you know. They can like. I remember there was one company. I don't remember which company it was, but they said like, yeah, it's too complicated to make maps. You're underestimating the community, right? They're not stupid. They're even better at making maps than, you know, the AAA studios, for the most part, at least. And I feel like you should give those tools. Like, if you want to really prolong your game, you should give people. But you know, that goes against the monetization principle. If you have the community, like same thing for Battlefield 6. Like, you know. If they would give people the tool, like, I don't understand, like, yeah, you know, I can understand, like, they impose limits because, like, you have to, you want your product to run smooth, like, you want to keep that consistency. I can understand to some extent, but, you know, it's still I feel like it's still a job for the level designer itself to make sure that the map is optimized. And if they if they face problems, they should just cut it down instead of, you know, imposing these actual limits. And sometimes you a little bit of hiccup is okay if like the benefit is having like this insane vista. But, you know, like, one major issue is, of course, the, well, if people make content, you can't sell your own content. And I think that's what's making sure that these developers or, like, the publishers are not a fan of the idea of giving too much control to the community, you know, for obvious reasons. But if you really want, and that's what kind of like modern DLC or the so-called live service, you know, they kind of ruin it. But there's pretty much no stopping that. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is give this another tag, and that is something that wasn't possible in the original design. The non-UDMF map format that I was using. You could not give multiple tags to a same sector, but this will allow us to actually have some fun with. Let's see, let's give this, of course, a yellow glass. And okay. Absolutely, you cannot sell a custom mod file. Yeah. True. Which, of course, you know, I can. That's okay. I mean, but the thing is, like, you know, these publishers, they don't want the community to create free maps, because then no one would buy their own maps that they do sell. So less money to be made. No, but it's not about like I'm not talking about this this game. It's just this has no monetization whatsoever, and that's fine. I'm talking about like newer games in general. Like they don't release editing tools to the public, not because like they sell it like, you know, it's too complicated for people. That's how they sell it, but it's not true. It doesn't give them any money. Now, if they're smart, like in Battlefield, they have this amazing opportunity. If they're smart, you know, they allow the community to create maps, like give out the original development tools. And I mean, like, just do it for maps only. If you really want to keep selling cosmetics, just do it for maps. Like that will insanely, like, yeah, they have to make money, but like what they're doing now, they're giving out like 2 maps per season for free. The maps aren't even like they're not even sold. Like you get the maps for free. But it baffles me, like, why don't they allow the community to make their own maps like properly, you know? And like I understand, like, and that's not even, it shouldn't be even an issue with you know, limiting XP. Of course there's going to be farming, whatever, but just let them create this, let them have this sandbox, you know. And if you really want, you can actually like make a selection. Let the community vote, and the best maps, you know, they get handpicked and they get added to the real like rotation. Like, it's super. Like, I don't understand why they don't like go further with this. Like, they have Portal. Yeah, but why would they lose money? Because they're not selling maps; they're selling cosmetics. So they're not making money off maps right now. They're not. The maps are being given away for free each season. It's the cosmetics, like the weapon packs, soldier skins. That's where they're making money off, not the maps. So it's completely insane. Like, yeah, that was a good time. I remember that one as well. Well, you know. Indeed. Like they wouldn't have to pay the community to make maps for them. They would have like a free map maker. And they could just focus purely on cosmetics or like actual updates that matter, like fixing some serious bugs still in the game. It's I don't understand, man. Probably never will, but you know. There's a very strong sentiment, I feel, where many people are really going back to like the retro gaming, you know. I feel it's very strong. that's what I want. Okay, so sector set fate. Can we actually fate? Does this work? Global sector cost fate. Hold on. They can make more games, yeah, true, but you know, so many did it before them, and they were super successful. I mean, like, the whole live service thing is something that I feel like is a plague upon gaming. But you know, it's it's just a matter of money. That's it. That really? Well, apparently it is. Could be. Well, we always have our retro games. So I'm good. I'm good. I don't really care. I think, you know, most people are just tired of like where it all has gotten to. You know, I feel like like there were two games, let's say recently in 2025, that kind of made me play like AAA again, and that was Battlefield 6. But I haven't purchased any cosmetic, and I just won't do it. I think, you know, I'm not a full-time, you know, streamer, so I'm not burnt out on the game. But I feel like they had a solid foundation. Like, the game is fun, despite, you know, its issues. I enjoyed it. Like, from time to time I jump in like for an hour, do some matches, and I get out. And that's what Battlefield 6 is actually perfect for. And that is, you know, sometimes it's just fun to... But those are the only games, that and Arc Raiders, that actually drew me back a little bit into AAA gaming again. You know, I understand your sentiment, but I kind of like, I was longing so hard for a proper shooter, instead of all these Fortnite clones. You know, I never played Fortnite. I absolutely dislike the aesthetic of those games, like the cartoony. Like the only game that kind of pulled it off was Team Fortress 2, I think. But I don't like the aesthetic in general. Yeah. It's just like the state of gaming is really bad. and I have no idea how they can fix it. Oh, is he? John Ramirez? You mean Romero? Oh wait, your friend? Okay. Oh, Romero. Okay. Okay, I was a little bit confused there, but yeah. Well, do you trust him? He did make Daikatana. I'm pretty skeptical nowadays. Like, I definitely don't buy into the whole pre-order stuff, you know. I want to see, like... Oh, I forgot to shrink this, apparently. Where is it? Ah, wait. Yeah. What the hell is this? It's the other way around. I'm using his engine right now. I know. Is it his engine though? It's Carmack's engine. John Romero wasn't like... I think Carmack did the most of the engine work. There we go. That is actually Slade. Well, I think I'm gonna have to cut these. This doesn't really make sense. These boxes have to... okay, well, that's something for next time. All right, I'm gonna end it here. Unfortunately, I feel the strain on my shoulder already. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a rest. I hope it's over soon. So I can get back to a little longer, period of level design, but I'm gonna be back a few times this week. I'm gonna try, at least, kind of depending on how my shoulder's doing. So we can, still keep working on this, and hopefully it'll get better. Eventually, it will. So thank you so much for joining. Have a great evening, and I'll see you guys, later this week, where we continue. Drink more water. That's actually good advice. I'm actually going to do that right now. It could work. All right, thank you for the tip. I will definitely do that. And hopefully, like I'm taking pills at the moment, so it should be gradually getting better. So I'm not gonna make sure like I don't overdo it, so I don't end up getting worse. But yeah, I will keep working on the project. No worries. I'll just do what I can until the issue is fixed. Thank you so much for the tip. Thank you for joining for the conversation, and I'll see you guys later this week. Take care.